Where was Scotland's most important royal dynasty born? And if I said I'd take you there today, would you know where we were going? If you're interested in the people, places and events in Scottish history, then click the subscribe button at the bottom right of the screen and ring the notification bell to be told when I upload new videos. In the meantime, let me tell you a story. So where do you think we'd go for the most important Scottish royal dynasty? Put your answers in the comment section. In the constant ebb and flow of history, Scotland has seen high points and low points. Winning the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, losing the Battle of Flodden in 1513, qualifying for the 1978 World Cup finals in Argentina, playing in the 1978 World Cup finals in Argentina. This dynasty ended at one of those high points in Scottish history, but its end brought a devastatingly low period in Scotland, militarily, economically and structurally. It was really under this dynasty that what we know as Scotland was formed. It saw huge cultural and linguistic changes. The rise of Scottish towns, the cementing of what we would know to be our borders, the introduction of coinage and the deepest invasion of a Scottish army into England. It saw the greatest extent of Scottish control in these islands. And some of the oldest buildings that remain to this day were built during this dynasty. It delivered possibly the greatest king that Scotland's known. Saw off the Viking threat, but had mixed results with the threat from England. One of its kings was killed by the English in battle. Another was killed by the Scots in battle. Another still was captured by the English and had a southern bride imposed on him, an indignity that his great uncle had suffered before him. Although his granddad had married an English noblewoman with pleasure. In fact, almost all of this dynasty married English women, whether Saxon or Norman. The last of the dynasty was even married to the sister of Edward Longshanks, who destroyed a period of peace and good relations after that last of the dynasty died fallen from his horse. I've probably given you enough clues by now. I'm sure lots of you will have worked out that we're talking about what you might call the Canmore dynasty, but they're more properly called the House of Dunkeld. And Dunkeld is where I am today. I love it here. It's quaint, it's scenic, nestled in North Perthshire. It's what I think is the most beautiful part of Scotland, where Highland and Lowland meet. These are all reasons for you to come here. But an even greater reason to come, and the reason that this dynasty is called the House of Dunkeld, is up here. Alexander III was the last of the House of Dunkeld. As we know, he fell from his horse on his way home to his second wife after Margaret, his first wife, the sister of Edward Longshanks, had died. Alexander III's dad, Alexander II, had also been married to an English princess, Joan, the daughter of King John. That Alexander's dad, King William, was the one who'd been captured by the English at the Battle of Alnwick, and as well as the Treaty of Falaise, had the English Norman bride Ermengarde imposed on him. His granddad, David, had gladly married his Mrs. Maud of Huntingdon, who brought quite a bit of land and status that David used to his advantage as he brought Scotland to new heights. Of course, it was his dad, Malcolm III, who'd married the Saxon princess, now Saint Margaret. And it's the birth of Malcolm's dad that brings us here. Now, I've left a couple of names out along the way for guys who were unmarried like Malcolm IV, or for that matter, not direct father-to-son relationships like Edgar or Donald Ban. Least said, soonest mended. Anyway, this is where the House of Dunkeld began. It's also one of my favourite places. It's a place that I bring folks on tour. It's a place where I'll bring folks on my 11-day group tour. I'll be taking a group of up to 25 people to Glencoe, the Isle of Mull, Iona, Inverness and more. I'll show you Loch Lomond and Loch Ness, Culloden and lots of other places. I'll tell you stories along the way and I'll put on a comedy show, and we'll end it all with a traditional Scottish ceilidh. Now, at the time of writing, more than half the seats are already gone, but if you'd like to be one of the exclusive group to come on this wonderful trip, click the link top right or the one in the description below, or email alexis@scotlandhistorytours.co.uk. At school, you might have read the play Macbeth. If not, you may have seen the play, watched the Michael Fassbender film, or maybe you came to my fringe show Macbeth without the Shakespeare bollocks. It probably never occurred to you that here, by the River Tay in Dunkeld, Perthshire, is where the story of Macbeth starts. Who would have thought that the blood and gore of that falsehood-ridden English fiction started in this lovely setting? But this is where King Duncan was born, son of Crinan, Abbot of Dunkeld, and Bayhawk, daughter of Malcolm II. Whether thinking about Duncan in Shakespeare's fantasy or the real character from history, the first king of the House of Dunkeld would have grown up here. He and Macbeth were related, cousins, and they were roughly the same age. I love the idea that these two characters from our history that would later clash in life, and much later in the pages of Shakespeare's most famous play, might themselves have played together where I'm standing. Many years later, 5 years after Macbeth had killed Duncan in battle miles to the north, it would be Duncan's father, Crinan, Abbot of Dunkeld, that would lead the one rebellion against Macbeth that we know about. Maybe it was because this was the family power base that Shakespeare had Burnham Wood, on the other side of the river, moved from here to Macbeth's fort on Dunsinnan Hill. It was at Dunsinnan Hill that Duncan's son would defeat Macbeth years after that, and then marry a Saxon princess who would become a saint, who would bear a son who would establish boroughs and build abbeys in Kelso, Melrose, Jedburgh, Cambus Kenneth and Holyrood, who would bring Normans and mint our first coinage. His grandson would lose, then repurchase Scottish freedom, and his descendants would subdue the Isles and banish Håkon of Norway to make Scotland what it is, before a stumbling horse on that fateful night. But it all began here in Dunkeld, that has way more history and beauty than other towns of its size. Home of the Caledonii tribe that gave Caledonia its name. The place where Kenneth MacAlpin, first King of Scots, brought the relics of Columba safe from Vikings as Scotland was being formed. The resting place of the notorious Wolf of Badenoch, who surely can't rest peacefully in his tomb. The location of the last gas battle during the first Jacobite uprising as it came to an end in these very grounds. The birthplace of Canada's second Prime Minister and the inspiration for so many of the characters of Beatrix Potter. It's quite a place. You should come. I've made another video about an even deeper history etched in this place. And of course, there's a link to that video coming up on screen now. Support the channel by clicking top right to become a Patreon member, or buy me a coffee in the description below. In the meantime, ha' mi an dóchas gwn be a lamb alley. Cheerio and drasta.